TheWholeKitchenSink.com, last updated in March 8th, 2019, shares a story about a girl named Bailey who was overweight and obese her whole childhood. Bailey's family bribed her when she was 6 to 7 years old to eat less and exercise, even offered her money if she lost weight. Her childhood friends would do things like trade and borrow each other's clothes. Even though it was obvious that Bailey would not fit in them, they would do this in front of her. Bailey felt worse about Bailey felt even worse about her weight. Jennifer F. Cross, MD of Pediatric Behavioral and Development, mentions in her last updated article in 2021 on healthmatter.nyp.org, children who spend more screen time have been shown to eat more fast food and less fruits and vegetables, also get less sleep and exercise. These findings tie children who are spending too much screen time, such as TV, iPads, and cell phones, are linked to obesity. Obesity is not the only consequence of screen time. There are much worse consequences, and some are irreversible. Today I'm going to tell you three different effects on screen time can cause harm to young children. First, I'm going to tell you how sitting in front of a screen instead of having physical health can affect children. Then I'm going to tell you how behavioral effects screen time can have on children. Last, I'm going to tell you how excessive screen time can impair a child's cognitive development. Let me start by telling you how a lot of exposure to screen time can affect children's physical health. Too much screen time can have effects such as children being overweight and obese. In an article, April 16, 2020, issues of American Psychological Association, obesity that was focused on people who spent a lot more time watching TV was related to people with higher body mass or body fat composition. More screen time means less exercise and physical activity. People in the 1800s, they didn't have TVs, they didn't have cell phones, and they didn't have much technology, to be honest. And children were experiencing more physical activity regardless if they wanted to or not. Now, huge developing technological waves of products are enabling adults to letting their children participate in physical activities. A study last updated in April 5th, 2021 on cdc.gov in the article Prevalence of Childhood Obesity in the United States states that in the years 2017 to 2018, there were high levels of 2 to 9-year-olds affected by obesity. This statistic affected 14.4 million children and adolescents just within the United States alone. And the high levels in screen time, or the increased levels of screen time, enable children to learn productivity and longevity. Now that I've gave you a preview of the links screen time has with a child and their physical health, let me tell you the behavioral effects that screen time has on children. Children who are exposed to excessive amounts of screen time are prone to short tempers and more difficult behavioral issues. ScienceDaily.com, last updated in November 2016, reports that from 2015 to 17, out of a group of 367 preschool children had a form of neurodevelopmental disorders. It will benefit children more by singing songs they are familiar with, like lullabies, playing calm music, or even just reading them a book. Children will get the chance to self-soothe and fall asleep without being overstimulated by screen time. Children are already easily distracted. Exposing children to screen time is not educational and interactive can shorten their attention span. You now know that giving children screen time can cause both physical health issues and obesity, and behavioral issues. Let me tell you the final issue that that are permanent cognitive development effects on young children. On July 24, 2019, ScienceDaily.com claims that while children may be watching educational videos on these screens, that they will lose the ability to practice and master basic skills, developmental skills. Activities like skipping, jumping, throwing, and catching are not being practiced during screen time. Children learn from actions of others and adults they are surrounded by. The previously mentioned APA article states that their evidence strongly suggests that screens can't displace that what children learn with face-to-face interactions. Social skills children learn from hearing, seeing, and practicing to speak on their own will be enabled. Healthmatters.nyp.org on February 8, 2020 argues that distracting a child with screen time hard is makes it harder for them to learn to resolve conflicts on their own. Adults have the adults have the willpower to make the decision and to benefit their futures by turning off the screens if they wanted to. Children, however, are not able to make these decisions on their own, especially when they're being overstimulated, let alone redevelop what was lost in the early years of development. Speech delays, slower cognitive development are common in children with increased screen time. Today I shared with you how the links between obesity and children exposed to excessive screen time. Then I explained the concerns with behavioral issues that can occur with screen time at a young age. Last, I told you about some alarming issues with cognitive delays that may be caused by too much screen time. Like Bailey, who suffered from countless comments and bullying from classmates, teachers, and even her own family, being obese does not come easy to anyone, let alone a child. In the future, or let this information bring awareness to the future generation and the excessive exposure that screen time has on their childhood and future. Children who are able to adjust their screen time to little to no screen time will benefit their physical health, behavioral habits, and their cognitive development.